Hello everyone, today we are looking at the project objective for Tony Peggy Sue's wedding. In project management, success is defined how well we balance the triple constraint of time, cost and scope. Our objective transform a high-stress family conflict into a structured, manageable project. We have identified 5 key pillars for success. First, we must execute a single ceremony and reception on June 30. This is our fixed time constraint. With only 6 months to plan, every decision must move us closer to this date. By focusing on a single event, we eliminate of the logistical nightmare of dual weddings in different states. These objectives force a go-no-go decision on the location early in the planning phase to ensure we meet the June 30 deadline. Second is funding. We must fund the event using the couple's personal savings without taking out the new high interest loan. This is our cost constraint. Tony and Peggy Sue are already managing student debt. Therefore, this project cannot compromise their financial future. Unlike the family expectation, our plan treats the wedding as a cash-on-hand project, ensuring that the couple doesn't rely on unpredictable wedding gifts to pay essential vendor deposit. Third, we must reach a compromise between the New York and Nebraska families. This is a stakeholder management objective. We have two powerful project sponsors, Camilla and Mildred, with polar opposite vision. Success here means navigating the cultural gap between a 300% New York City banquet and a small Nebraska branch. Our goal is to consolidate these requirements into a middle ground that satisfies both families while keeping Tony and Peggy Sue as the primary decision makers. Our fourth objective is to secure a venue that accommodates an outdoor ceremony and reception for both family and college friends. This defines our scope. We are prioritizing a venue that supports a festive atmosphere, specifically one that allows for music and dancing led into the night, which is a core requirement for the couple vision. Finally, we must create a plan B for inclement weather. In project management, an outdoor event is a high-risk endeavor. This objective ensures that risk mitigation is not an afterthought, but a mandatory part of the venue selection and budgeting process. By meeting these 5 objectives, we ensure a celebration that is professionally managed, financially responsible, and personally meaningful. Moving on from our objective, we must address the financial assumption of the project. In this project management assumption are factors we believe to be true for planning purpose, but they also represent our biggest areas of risk. We have identified 10 critical assumptions that must hold true for Tony and Peggy Sue to succeed. First, we are assuming the wedding date of June 30 is fixed and that a suitable outdoor venue is still available for booking. Given that we are starting in January, we are operating on the assumption that 6 months is sufficient time to organize a large-scale event. In the wedding industry, 6 months is a very tight window, so this assumption requires immediate action to secure a location. Regarding the environment, we are assuming the weather will be clear and cooperative. Since the couple explicitly want an outdoor ceremony and reception, the entire project scope depends on this. While we have a plan B in our objective, our primary plan assumes the perfect condition. Financially, we have 3 major assumptions. We assume the couple can afford the upfront costs and deposit on their own, and that high-quality vendors like caterers and musicians can be found within their specific budget. Most importantly, the couple is assuming that monetary gifts from guests will be sufficient to cover the total wedding expense. This is a high-risk financial assumption as it relies on projected revenue that is not guaranteed. Finally, we look at the human element. We assume both families will cooperate and move past their conflicting ideas of a New York banquet versus a Nebraska branch. We are also planning for a guest list of 250 to 300 people, assuming that travel from New York City and Nebraska to a central location is feasible for them. Lastly, we assume that Tony and Peggy Sue will remain equally and actively involved. This ensures the workload is shared and that Tony's culinary expertise and Peggy Sue's organizational skills are both utilized. If any of these 10 assumptions fail, the project plan will need immediate revision.
Hello everyone. Today I will present our work breakdown structure for the wedding by Peggy Sue and Tony. This WBS shows all the main activities needed to organize the wedding successfully. The project is divided into 6 major sections. The first one is wedding planning and coordination, venue and logistics, ceremony and wedding party, catering and food, photography and videography, and lastly, transportation and accommodation. Each section is broken down into smaller tasks so the team can manage the wedding step by step and avoid missing any important work. Now, let's look at the first three sections. The first one is wedding planning and coordination, managed by Peggy Sue. This section focuses on planning, documents, and managing people, which includes budget management, such as estimating total costs, setting the budget, and paying the deposit. Stakeholder management, like solving conflicts, managing the honeymoon, and finalizing the guest list. Legal documentation, such as applying marriage license and name change documentation. This part is very important because it builds the foundation of the whole wedding project. Next is venue and logistics, managed by Tony. This section ensures the wedding location and setup are ready. The key tasks include site selection and researching outdoor venues, preparing backup location for emergency, reception venue setup like tent, lighting, tables, chair, and decoration. This section makes sure the wedding environment is safe, comfortable, and beautiful. The third section is ceremony and wedding party, managed by Peggy Sue and Tony. This covers everything related to the wedding ceremony and outfits. The main task includes selecting the officiants and preparing ceremony program, preparing sound system and seating setup, performing rehearsal before the big day, choosing dress, suit, and accessory. This section ensures the ceremony runs smooth and professionally. Next is catering and food, managed by Peggy Sue and Tony. Food is very important part of any wedding. The tasks include food planning and estimating the quantity, preparing beverage and dining area, menu selection and choosing catering service, food tasting sessions, and wedding cake preparation. This ensures guests enjoy delicious food during the celebration. The fifth section is photography and videography, which is managed by Tony. This section captures memories of the wedding. The tasks include searching and comparing photographers, confirming booking and arranging videography, planning important moments to be recorded. This ensures every special moment is captured beautifully. The final section is transportation and accommodation, which is managed by Tony and Carmela. This focuses on guest comfort and travel arrangements. The task includes hiring transportation, which is planning important travel routes, arranging bride, groom and family transport, booking hotel accommodation. This ensures everyone arrives safely and has a comfortable stay. In conclusion, this WBS helps organize the wedding in a structured and systematic way. It ensures all tasks are clearly assigned and complete on time.
To responsibility asymmetry. The purpose of the ramp is to show who is responsible for each activity in the project, but based on our breakdown structure, which is WBS. In this matrix, P means primary responsibility, which is the person is in charge for the responsibility task. S means supporting responsibility, which means the person help or support the task. For example, Tony is mainly responsible for venue and logistics, such as researching the outdoor venue and arranging transportation. Other than that, Peggy Sue is mainly responsible for photography, wedding attire and legal documentation. And lastly, Carmela. Carmela mainly support accommodation arrangement. This matrix help our team by dividing their work and then to avoid confusion, and it also improve teamwork and ensure that everybody has a responsible in the project.
Today, I will present our sequence table for wedding planning project. This sequence table shows the activity involved in organizing a wedding, including the predecessor, duration, and person in charge for each task. First, the project begins with activity A, which is preparing the wedding budget and payment planning. This activity takes 14 working days and is handled by Tony. Since this is the starting point, it has no predecessor. Next is activity B, which is finalizing the guest list and family arrangement. This activity depends on activity A and takes 21 working days. Peggy Sue is responsible for this task. After that, we have activity C, which is completing the marriage license and documentation. This task can only begin after activity B is complete and requires 14 working days under Peggy Sue's responsibility. At the same time, activity D, which is selecting and confirming the wedding venue, also depends on activity A. This activity takes 30 working days and is managed by Tony. Once the venue is confirmed, several activities can begin. For example, activity E is arranging decorations, tables, lighting, and setup. This takes 14 working days and is handled by Tony. Next, activity F is preparing the ceremony program and rehearsal. This activity also depends on activity D and takes 14 working days. Both Tony and Peggy Sue are involved in this task. Moving on, activity G involves selecting wedding attire and accessories. This activity depends on activity B and takes the longest duration, which is 45 working days. Peggy Sue is responsible for this activity. For activity H, the team chooses the catering service and finalizes the menu. This depends on activity D and requires 21 working days under Tony's supervision. After catering is finalized, activity I, arranging beverages and dining area setup, can begin. This task takes 14 working days and is handled by Peggy Sue. Similarly, activity J, selecting and ordering the wedding cake, also depends on activity H. This activity takes 40 working days and is managed by Peggy Sue. Next is activity K, which is hiring the photographer and videographer. This task depends on activity B and requires 21 working days. Tony and Peggy Sue work together on this activity. Then, activity L involves arranging transportation and hotel accommodation. This depends on activity D and takes 21 working days. Tony and Carmela are responsible for this task. Finally, we have activity M, which is the wedding ceremony and receptions. This is the final activity and can only begin after activities C, E, F, G, I, J, K, and L are complete. The ceremony itself takes 1 working days and is managed by Tony and Peggy Sue. In conclusion, this sequence table helps us understand the order of activities, task dependencies, project duration, and responsibilities of each team member. It also ensures that the wedding preparation process is organized and complete efficiently. Thank you.
Hello everyone, today I will be presenting the network diagram for the weddings project for Tony and Peggy Sue. The goal is to successfully organize all tasks within a 118-day timeline. Let's start with the project flow. First, the early phase. Activity A is the foundation of our project. Prepare wedding budget handled by Tony for 14 days, day 0 to day 14. Once the budget is done, the project splits into 2 immediate paths. Activity D, select wedding venue, handled by Tony for 13 days, day 14 to day 44. Activity B, finalist guest list, handled by Peggy Sue for 21 days, day 14 to day 35. Second, the parallel phase. Once the venue and guest list are confirmed, the team runs multiple parallel tasks to save time. For the venue path, Tony handled most of the technical and physical setup. Activity H, choose catering, which is Tony 21 days. This leads directly to activity I, arrange beverage 14 days, and activity J, order wedding cake 14 days, both handled by Peggy Sue. Activity F, prepare ceremony program, Tony and Peggy Sue 14 days. Activity E, arrange decorations and lighting, Tony 14 days. Activity L, arrange transportation and hotel, Tony and Carmela 21 days. For the guest list path, Peggy Sue focus on the documentation and styling. Activity C, complete marriage license, Peggy Sue 14 days. Activity G, select wedding attire, Peggy Sue 45 days. Activity K, hire photographer and videographer, Tony and Peggy Sue 21 days. Third is schedule analysis and critical path. Now, let's look at the red numbers on each box. The top numbers show the earliest start and finish, while the bottom numbers show the latest start and finish. Based on this analysis, activity D, select venue, and activity H, choose catering, have mentioned top and bottom calculation. This means they have zero flexibility and form our critical path. Any delay in this task will delay the whole wedding date. Other tasks have slack time or a flexible buffer. For example, activity A can finish as late as day 113 without affecting the final schedule. Finally, for the last, all paths lead to the final event, activity M, wedding ceremony reception, which is a one-day task managed by Tony and Peggy Sue. In conclusion, this network diagram helps our team coordinate efficiently, manage our time buffers, and ensure everything is ready by day 118. Next, I will present the total slack analysis for our wedding planning project. This table shows the schedule, responsibilities, and flexibility we have for each activity. Let's start with the first activities. Activity A, prepare wedding and payment planning, is managed by Tony. It takes 14 days and has a total slack of 99 days. Activity B, finalize guest list, is Peggy Sue's responsibility. It takes 21 days, also with 99 days of slack. Activity C, complete marriage license and documentation, is handled by Peggy Sue. It takes 14 days and has total slack of 120 days. This means we have a lot of extra time to finish this task without delaying the wedding. Next, looking at the venue and setup. Activity D, select and confirm wedding venue, is managed by Tony. It takes 30 days and 100 days of slack. Activity E, arrange decorations, table, lighting, and setup, is also by Tony. It takes 14 days with 121 days of total slack. Moving on to the ceremony details, activity F, prepare ceremony program and rehearsal, is a joint effort by Tony and Peggy Sue. It takes 14 days and has 121 days of slack. Activity G, select wedding attire and accessories, is done by Peggy Sue. It takes 45 days with 99 days of slack. Activity H, choose catering service and finalize menu, is managed by Tony. It takes 21 days with 100 days of slack. Activity I and J, arrange beverage and select wedding cake, are both handled by Peggy Sue. Each takes 14 days and has 100 days of slack. Finally, the last few activities. Activity K, hire photographer and videographer, is managed by Tony and Peggy Sue. It takes 21 days with the highest slack of 123 days. Activity L, arrange transportation and hotel accommodation, is done by Tony and Carmela. It takes 21 days with 114 days of slack. Activity M, wedding ceremony and reception, is the final event managed by Tony and Peggy Sue. It takes 1 day and has 99 days of slack. In conclusion, all activities have a high amount of total slack, mostly around 99 to 123 days. This shows that our schedule is very flexible and we have plenty of time to manage any unexpected delays. Thank you.